Well, hello there, folks, and a very warm welcome back to What's for Tea. It's lovely to see you all again, and thanks for coming over just to check out this very easy wee recipe. As we're approaching autumn, I thought this would be nice to pop up. It's such an easy recipe and an absolute classic for treacle tart. It's lovely served warm with some vanilla ice cream, or even in the colder months with some custard. So what I'm going to do is run you through how I'm making this, show you the ingredients, but as usual, everything that I'm using will be in the description box underneath the video, but I will put it on screen as we go as well. So I've got some stale breadcrumbs, some cream, I've got 1 egg there, the zest of 1 lemon, I've also got some unsalted butter and some golden syrup as well, and I will get back to the golden syrup. So the first thing we want to do is get our bread. I've had this bread sitting out for a couple of days, so it's lovely and dry. Listen. So you do want it nice and dry so that you make your breadcrumbs, they are nice and dry. So I'm just going to cut my crusts off. You don't have to, you can leave those on. I've just taken them off, and I'm just going to weigh my bread here. And I thought I would need 4 slices, but by the time I took the crusts off, I did need another slice to give me the weight that I needed. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can use a cheese grater if your bread is hard enough, you know, but I would suggest using a food processor if you have one. It's just going to make it so much easier. So just pop your bread in and give this a few seconds. Just pulse away until it's nice and fine and looks something like this. So grab yourself a big bowl and then add your breadcrumbs. As you can see, they are quite nice and fine, and they are very uniform, which is what I was looking for. So I'm using pre-made pastry, but if you're good at making your own pastry, go ahead. I just find this kind of thing, cut your recipe time in half. The amount you need will vary if you're doing just a bottom crust or if you're going to do a top crust as well. If you're going to do just a bottom crust, you'll only need 1 roll of pastry, but if you're going to do a lattice top like I'm going to do, you will need 2 rolls of this. So roll out your first sheet and just want to draw round the top of your pie tin, just a wee bit bigger than the surface of your tin, just so that it can lap over and you've got some excess to cut off. So once you're happy, lift away the excess pastry, flip your pastry over, and you just want to tuck your pastry into place with your knuckles or the flat of your hand. Just be nice and gentle, because obviously you don't want to poke holes or rip your pastry. So just keep going round nice and slowly, and it will eventually all fall into place and give you a wee skirt that hangs over the top. And we're just going to remove that excess pastry with the back of a knife. Just pick up your tart case, put it onto the flat of your hand, and just keep moving it round at the same time as you're cutting away your pastry. But like I said, if you use the back of your knife, which is the blunt end, this is really easy, and it just gives you a really nice, neat effect when you're finished. Now it looks something like this. So just pop that into the fridge for the time being. So if you're going to do the lattice top, you'll need a 2nd roll of pastry, and you just want to cut that into strips of about 1/4 inch. I'm going to need about 13. I will need about 10, but I like a couple of extra just in case. So refrigerate those as well. And this is the golden syrup that I'm using here. Now, apparently there is no proper substitution for this in this recipe. I know that golden syrup and corn syrup, corn syrup is a substitution in a lot of recipes where golden syrup is called for, but I've done a wee bit of research, and apparently corn syrup just is not the same in this. So if you can, do try and get a hold of the proper golden syrup. Back in the day, before they used golden syrup, they actually used this, which is black treacle. So if you can get this, you might want to try and give it a go with this instead. So go ahead and melt down your butter. Just pop it into the microwave for a few seconds. To a jug, pop in your golden syrup, and then we're just going to add the melted butter on top of that, and you just want to give this a good mix together for a minute, and then you can just set that to the side. Then grab yourself a large bowl. To that I'm going to add 1 large free range egg, and then the double or heavy cream depending on where you are, and you want to give that a light whisk together just to break down the egg and combine it nicely. And then the zest of 1 lemon, and then your stale breadcrumbs on top of that. And I'm just going to use a wooden spoon just to combine everything and bring it together and make sure everything is nicely absorbed before I add in the golden syrup and the melted butter. And again, just give it a wee stir together until it looks something like this. Then you can get your case out of the fridge and just pop your wet mixture in the middle and it will find its own level, but you can also use a spoon, you know, just to even it out a wee bit. Now you can go ahead and bake this at this point, but I'm going to put the lattice top on just for those that want to see it. But this is more traditional to be baked at this stage. But if you're going to do the lattice top, you want to wet the ring or the rim of the pastry. Lay down 5 strips of pastry vertically. And you just want to push it into the top there with your finger so that you lift them back, they don't fall off. So you want to lift up your first, your third and your last piece of pastry. And then go in with some more strips. This time we're going to do them horizontally and just across the way, and bring your flaps back down, your flaps of pastry back down. And these, you know, you can maneuver these quite a wee bit, so don't worry if, you know, they're not perfect, because you can move them around. And again, just lift up your second and your third, another piece of pastry down, and then just repeat the first and second steps all the way down until you've got a nice basket weave effect. This is not difficult at all. It's just a wee bit fiddly, as you can see there, but just take it nice and slow and your end effect will be really pretty and quite impressive. Now, I wasn't happy with that gap at the top there because I'm a wee bit of a perfectionist. So I'm going to go back and peel back that wee top bit there and just put another strip of pastry along the top just to make it look a wee bit more even. Just like this, but this is probably something you won't bother with. This is just me. So go around your edge, push all your pastry in just to make sure it's nicely connected, and then go in with a wee sharp knife and just cut off those wee tails of extra pastry all the way around. Just do this nice and slowly. You can't really mess this up if you take your time. Now, I'm not going to brush the top with egg or anything because I don't want this to be glossy. It's not meant to be glossy, but if you don't, you know, if you do want a glossy finish, you can go over the top with some beaten egg. So you want to bake this in the oven for about 20 minutes on 200C, gas mark 6, and then reduce your temperature to gas mark 4 or 180C, and then when it comes out the oven it will look something like this. And doesn't it look pretty? It's quite domed there, but as it cools, unfortunately this will flatten out a wee bit, but I was really pleased with how this looks. So let this cool completely in the tin, but there will still be a wee bit of heat in there, which you want, because that's going to go wonderfully with your ice cream. And I just want to show you the base there, because a lot of times when I make these kinds of things and I don't blind bake the pastry, or I don't bake the pastry first, folk will say, you know, that can't be cooked underneath. So I did want to show you that it is actually cooked underneath. But when you're baking this, if you find your top is browning too quickly, you can cover it with tin foil and that'll prevent your top burning. So just keep a wee eye on it, because it is going to be in your oven for about 40 or 45 minutes. And like I said, perfect served warm with vanilla ice cream. It is lovely, but ever so sweet. So if you don't have much of a sweet tooth, this might not be for you, but if you do, you're going to really enjoy that. And just before I leave you, I wanted to say, as usual, a huge thank you to the supporters of the channel over on my Patreon page, and to the channel members here on YouTube as well, for you all for watching and leaving your lovely comments, and for those that share the videos as well. It's all very much appreciated, and I will catch up with you during the week back here on What's for Tea for another wee recipe, or back on Saturday for our shopping unbagging, or even back on Sunday for our family meals of the week. But whenever you choose to join me again, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you off as soon. Take care and bye for now. Bye now.